kid the other day in the tattoo shop about music, basically. And for me, you know, I listen to a lot of metal, and there's a lot of subgenres like metalcore, hardcore, screamo, blah, blah, blah. But most people just look at it as screamo. And I was talking to this kid about dubstep. And I was like, that's just dubstep, dude. And he's like, no, there's like other... It's not just dubstep. This is completely different. And he was talking about Bass Nectar especially, and he had this... Bass Nectar has this big, long term for what his music is. I can't fucking remember it. I could probably look it up.
No, I'm for sure good on that.
Yeah, exactly. But the same way as there's subgenres in my music, there's subgenres in that music too.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Because, like... that's how I look at my music, and I've never thought to look at other people's music that way.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you're broadening your horizons.
I'm always trying to broaden my horizons. That's the problem with fucking people today, is they don't broaden their horizons by sticking themselves in other people's shoes.
You're going super motivational right off the bat.
Well, we'll stop that. I don't want to do that.
No, preach, son.
No, preach, brother.
I don't know if we always do that, but it's the fucking truth. Like, I look at myself in other people's shoes all the time. I don't sit there and go, oh, I'm better than you or I'm lower than you. I'm just like, well, if I was in that situation, I might do the same thing, you know, or I might act differently, depending on my experiences and depending on what the situation is.
There you go.
I try to avoid putting myself in other people's shoes as much as possible. I've got kind of, they're not big feet, but they're wide, so I don't want to fuck with anybody's shoes. Like, that's just rude. Like, they're probably worn in specifically to fit their feet.
So we were just watching videos on elk hunting.
And some people want you to walk a mile in their shoes, and it's just, man, fuck that.
I got a new pair of shoes if I walk a mile in yours, bitch. Peace, I got me a new pair of Air Maxes.
I'm just going to go ahead and keep Dims.
Sorry, what were you saying, Brad, about like something that actually had a point?
It didn't have a point, but I was just saying we were watching, you know, those videos on elk hunting in Colorado. What was it, Idaho? I think that video said.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were watching videos of that, and then they were talking about two elks fighting, two bull elks. And if you've never seen a bull elk, you need to look it up on Google right now. It's a crazy, majestic looking creature that has roamed this earth since the dawn of woolly mammoths and shit like that. That's when it came to be, and it's been around that fucking long. This thing is crazy to watch, and we decided, oh, let's watch them in the rut when they fight with each other. That's the craziest fucking thing. These two animals, and AJ, you probably know better than I do. How much do they averagely weigh? Like a bull elk?
I think they can weigh upwards of 1,000.
Yeah, upwards of 1,000 pounds.
Actually, check me
Jamie
on that.
looked that up.
Yeah,
Check me on that, because I don't know if that's right.
Where's Evan at to look that shit up? What's he doing right now?
On a serious note, where's Evan the producer?
Where's Evan? Evan the Barbarian.
He's out of town for work or some shit.
But yeah, we watched these.
Can I interject? I apologize. I'm over here Googling average size of a bull elk, and the first Google selection, what do you think it is? Average size of?
Penis.
Testicle, actually. Average size of testicle.
What do you know?
Never would have guessed.
I'm just here to derail the podcast, by the way.
Oh, that's. I mean, we're not even on the rails
Please
yet.
tell me how much a full male.
It says it averages 496 to 531 pounds.
That sounds a lot better than what I was thinking.
Wow. I mean, 1,000 pound.
A fucking
elk
grizzly
would be
bear can get up to
insane,
900.
though. God damn. Well, grizzly bears take down elk, though.
I apologize. That was a cow weighs 500 to 531.
So that's a female elk.
A bull is 700 to 730. It's who the fuck decides? I guess they just have to.
Weigh
they have like
bunch
really
of them.
good data on them.
Yeah.
But
Just
it's
average.
Just 705 to 730. Like,
Average, but I
we
mean,
just say they weigh 700 pounds.
Well, they might be talking in age too. You know,
Yeah.
there's a good 30 pounds difference between a spike bull and a 7x7.
God damn, and they're 5 foot tall at their shoulder.
at their shoulder. Oh my god.
Oh.
Like, we watch these hunting videos where these elk just walk up on you, and you're on the ground with them, and they're fucking maybe 100 yards away from you. That is insane to me.
I'm for real trying to kill one with my bow.
And people don't understand. Like, I watched that video and heard that thing bugle at him or whatever fucking noise it makes. That thing is insane, man. If I was that close and it bugled at me like that, like looking for a fight, and then you either shoot it or it's just going to run off, or Who knows? Maybe you move too much. It spots you and says, I'm going to fuck you up, whatever you are, and charges you with those huge antlers.
Dude.
That's insane to me. But
Yeah.
like, just somebody that I'm not very outdoorsy. I don't get out much. I'm in a fucking cubicle every day. To think of something like that, being out there with that kind of creature, people don't think about that anymore. That goes back to putting yourself in other people's shoes and in situations. To me, that's insane.
But dude, now
That's an
do you,
insane
But do you get
experience.
the draw though? Like it's that. It's exactly what you're describing. It's crazy.
It's an adrenaline rush.
filled. And
It's why people jump off buildings. It's an adrenaline rush.
It can go so right and it can go so wrong. And there's so many like peaks and valleys. It's just so emotionally up, emotionally down. Dude, you could pull the perfect stalk off, get your bow back, and then bam, you make a bad shot.
Yeah.
And
It's the
then-
risk and the reward.
Yeah, and dude, it's a
System,
fucking
dude.
roller coaster. And that's how deer hunting is too, but we're not even going to go down this road.
Do you think that's
3
why we
podcasts
have
in a row.
Do you think that's why we have so much anxiety in the world today and so much depression? Is that people don't experience the risk reward system very often anymore.
Well, I
they
think-
just experience the reward. So when there's actually a risk to the reward, we get higher anxiety because we don't experience that all the time. We don't experience risk like we normally would on a daily basis. So when we finally get risk, people are like, "Oh shit! Oh fuck!"
I think Joe Rogan said it best when he said, "Your body is like a battery."
Yes.
And if you never discharge that battery through, pushing yourself through physical activity or doing something that's not, it's kind of primal.
Primal.
Whether
Best
it's,
word ever.
whether it's, lifting really heavy shit, but and then you take it up a notch and you go out to the wilderness
yeah.
where you're placing yourself back in the food chain, essentially. I mean, yeah, granted, we have a lot of advantages, but shit can still go wrong out there. It is the wild. The wild doesn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, you're just in it.
If you get into trouble right here, right now, you can call the cops. There's people around. There's
As long as you're white.
yeah, but I'm even talking.
God damn it.
Well, I'm even talking like ambulances and shit.
Yeah.
And so.
But when you're out in the wilderness, there's nothing to come and save you.
You
That
die,
you're-
if you die in the wilderness, nothing changes.
Yeah, nothing changes. Nothing cares.
It keeps on keeping on, doesn't give one single iota of a fuck about you.
Yeah, nothing does. There's no funeral. There's no fucking, oh, we're sorry about so-and-so. We're going to say some kind words about his life.
No.
Your bones are getting picked clean by vultures, coyotes, whatever
Oh, and they're
large
eating your asshole
scavenger.
first.
They're eating your asshole first because that's tender, son.
They're eating your asshole
that's
first.
tender, son, right around the rim.
No, they like the guts and the inner organs.
Dogs are savages.
Yeah, they
These
are.
sort of dogs.
Did you see Cameron Haynes' post the other day? It was I can't quote all of it, but it was a picture of an antelope in Africa getting ripped
Yes.
to shreds
By hyenas.
by hyenas from the ass end, and the front half's still alive. It's calling out, legs out like this in the photo, and you just know it's just horrible. And he's like, "This is why I want a quick, clean kill, is to prevent this, because nature is brutal and it's savage and it does not care. But me, I want to put an animal down quick as respect to that animal." And it's like, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that video we watched was like a perfect example too. It's like you see it, you're not. I'm terrible at like tracking an arrow like on a video. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
well.
so am I.
I'm like, I assume he hit him, but then
Yeah.
like that one you can clearly see like it went through, and there's just blood running down, and that elk has
Because
no
the
idea what
elk
happened.
turned in the video, like
Yeah.
from the side he shot him from, and then he turned to the opposite side, and you see blood pour out. And I was dumbfounded. I was like, is the arrow just sticking out the other side? No, it went through the animal.
No, that motherfucker pulls back a 90-pound bow at 30 yards. See ya. You never finding that arrow.
Yeah. That motherfucker just kept on moving.
That thing's stuck in a tree somewhere down the valley.
Yeah, that arrow had no idea it even killed an animal. That arrow
Yeah.
was so far gone.
Oh man,
It was just suddenly stopped by a tree.
It's like, oh hey, god damn, dude, that's just insane to me. Like, we lose such sight of that being in a society and being in cars and houses and things like that.
And people call me crazy because I want to sit 8 hours in a deer stand.
But it's nice. I just recently started hunting, and the best part about sitting in that deer stand, I've went, what is it, 2 times now?
Yeah.
2 times I've went and hunted, and I haven't seen a goddamn deer. But you know what? I'm not discouraged because I enjoyed both times. I enjoyed going out there, getting out of my truck, and I look up and I just see stars. And there's that faint glow of the horizon where the sun's coming up. And then
If there's a faint glow when you're getting in your stand,
That's why you haven't seen any deer.
you're late.
it's not that bad, all right? You know,
You're late.
You know what time I got in my fucking stand. Shut the fuck up.
It's about to get better though with the time change. You're all good.
Exactly.
No, it's gonna get worse.
Oh, sorry. I don't do math very well.
It's gonna get worse because you're gonna have to get up earlier. Because right now,
God damn it.
I can get out there about 6, be fine. I'm about to have to get there at 5.
What?
Yeah, fall back, son.
God damn it.
You'll be all right, Brad.
I'll make it. But I enjoy it. I enjoy just sitting there. It's peaceful. Because before the sun comes up, there's nothing. It's quiet. Just super quiet. As
And
quiet as you'll ever get.
I know you probably haven't sat long enough to get this, but you'll know what I'm talking about. You hear the layers of the woods come alive.
Yeah.
The first things that come alive, the first things to wake up, what are they?
Fucking birds.
Yes.
You always hear the birds. And then you start seeing squirrels and the little shit. Just you start hearing things on the ground, but you might not see it. But you and then as soon as that little bit of light crests the top, squirrels. And then as soon as it's like probably right when I'm about to get out of the stand, I see a lot more. Like last time I saw either a coon or a skunk. The most recent hunt I just did, I saw a little family of quail pass right under my stand through that little path that we cut, and they're just sitting there just looking around. Oh, what's going on? And I made a noise, and then they all took off. But it's fun to sit there and watch things, and they don't see you. You know, it's fun to sit and watch what they do, because that's how their day's starting. All right, I'm gonna get up. I gotta look for predators, and I gotta look for food. What am I gonna do here?
Yeah, it is crazy to like know that is their existence. Like that
Yeah.
is their entire reality. And you watch it and it also like in a real like stoner talk, it for real like makes you think. Like I've watched plenty of deer walk right past me that keep on keeping on. Never knew I was there. And it just creeps me out how, it's because it's not that they can't, that they're not in tune and couldn't see me. It's just the fact that I was hidden, right? But do you think that there are aliens that...
No shit.
Listen, I'm trying to connect this.
No.
Do you think that there are aliens that are just in and around us that we just can't see?
I was thinking the same thing. If there's just interdimensional beings who are just watching,
Right.
and we're just walking.
You want to
through
hear the
life.
craziest theory I heard the other day?
Or
that
the CIA.
yeah.
NSA, sorry. The
So
NSA.
I heard this
They're
crazy
listening.
No
fucking
disrespect,
thing
yeah.
that there's this I forget where the lady's from, but she's completely blind, and she predicted 9/11, predicted elections, predicted all this crazy shit in the past.
I
right?
call bullshit. What?
And
What are you talking about?
this lady, I watched a video on it. All right.
Oh,
This-
on YouTube?
It was probably
Must have been
true. It's on the fucking internet. I don't know if it's true or not.
Did Eddie
Don't
Bravo
take
post
this
it on
as-
his Instagram?
Don't take this as
Was
fact.
it a repost by Eddie Bravo?
Just listen to it. It doesn't even. It's stupid, anyways, because it's not fucking real.
All right, go ahead.
So this lady predicts all this shit. Like predicts 9/11, predicts that Obama was going to get elected, predicts a bunch of other stuff like that in history, and she predicted that Obama would be the last president, and it's because he announces to the world that there's aliens.
I saw that.
Yeah. Now this is completely. Yeah, that's completely fucking stupid.
But what if it's true?
It's not true because they never release that there's aliens to the public because there would be mass hysteria. There'd be anarchy.
Yeah, but she just predicted it.
Yeah, but
And she's
it's not-
never
it's
been
not
wrong?
fact.
Just like she predicted 9/11, bro. It's totally legit.
So they said, all right.
Hold on,
so
hold on.
listen,
Has
wait,
she
wait, wait, wait,
ever
wait, wait,
been
wait,
wrong?
wait, hold on here. I'm going to explain that. She has an 85% success rate in predicting shit.
That's
so
passing. That's passing. That's
I
pretty
think I
solid.
could pull off an 85%.
Exactly. That's why I'm not saying this is anything. I'm just saying it's
3.0
funny. It's a
GPA
funny,
though.
dumb shit that
And
I've
how
heard.
are these predictions recorded? Did she write them
I
down?
don't know. I don't fucking know. I didn't
Was
read
there
that.
like a guy there that's like a record keeper?
I didn't read that far into it,
That time and
obviously.
dated this stuff?
Because listen to the
Are
fucking
there
thing.
witnesses or?
I don't know, dude. She died in 1996, but apparently she predicted all this before she died.
Oh, that would be
Okay,
the
that's
best
a little bit. That makes me. I thought this bitch was still alive. Just saying, I predicted that shit.
No, but if I remember this conversation we're having right now on my deathbed, I'm gonna start just predicting a bunch of crazy shit. And just hopefully one day, like my grandkids, like, oh my god, Grandpa knew. How the fuck did he know?
How did he know?
God damn it, Grandpa! What were you on, man?
Grandpa died 30
What
years
kind
ago.
of drugs were you taking?
He knew that
bro?
the economy was going to take a slight downturn. How could he have predicted this?
God, I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast today, and they were
Sorry,
talking
who
about
was that?
Joe Rogan.
Okay, good. You kind of like sounded like you had a
Yeah,
mouthful of
okay.
something. But
But
Joe Rogan?
which one?
the
Be specific.
newest one with him and Joey Diaz,
This is such
Okay.
a funny podcast.
and they're talking about.
Dude, I laughed out loud so many fucking times.
Dude, I played it for my client because he'd never listened to the podcast before, and we were talking about it because he loves Joe Rogan's stand-up, and I was like, "You have to listen to this podcast." And I was talking to him about Joey Diaz, and I was like, "You don't know who Joey Diaz is?" I was like, "I will play the podcast with him right now. They got a new one," and we cracked up forever listening to this shit, dude.
Dude, when he's like, you got me so fucking high. He's like, that breath spray don't play, dog.
He's like, I went deep for like 20 minutes. I blacked out. I thought about taking a nap.
No, but they were talking about, Joe was talking about how in our upbringing as humans that over a course of 1 million years, our brains doubled in size. And I was like, I totally just went deep into the fucking stoned ape theory. I was just like, yeah, because they fucking ate a shit ton of magic mushrooms, and then those monkeys that ate the mushrooms mated with other monkeys and subconsciously gave that shit to their offspring, and it passed on, and they continue to eat fucking magic mushrooms. Sorry, I went deep.
Jesus Christ.
I just went real. I did that. My imagination goes places you have no idea.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Are you just?
I don't have a
is that
point to this.
Is that a statement, or are
have
you
a
going to
point
follow
to
it up
this.
with some facts?
No, this is just a statement.
Okay.
This is just my crazy
Moving on.
brain.
Hey, I saw the new ink that you put on Ty Wells' wrist. That was pretty dope. Little shark.
Yes.
A little shark action.
Yeah. I don't know if I can divulge.
When do you want
this,
to tattoo my scar arm? How long until we can do that?
but When are you going to commit to full sleeves?
As soon as possible.
Your job allows that?
I climb cell phone towers, my friend,
He could get a 1%er tattoo on his nose.
and nobody would give a shit.
All right, we're doing fucking sleeve on you. Please let me tattoo a badass bull elk. Would you quit?
I wouldn't. Not until I would actually kill one. sir.
Okay, but we're gonna do it
Sir?
eventually. You don't have to get the sleeve before you go to Colorado.
That would be dope
you're
on
gonna
the inside of
you're
your
gonna go to
arm.
Colorado. We need to talk offline. I can give you some really good tests of endurance.
Test of endurance.
Yeah, we'll talk.
All right.
We'll talk.
Hell yeah. I love how you're packing a pouch.
I've been going deep lately. I've been recommitted.
Let's
to my
just do it
career.
now. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just like different tests that you can do. I mean, not complicated at all, but let me put the
Hold
camera
on. Let
my
me stop
face.
you real quick.
Put the camera on my face when
I need to interrupt you with a question.
Why
Do those
I, where do I have to look?
do
like,
those
Right there.
If I want to look, okay, I'm going to talk to you, but I'm going to look into the camera. Go.
Look at right.
Yep. Okay, go AJ.
I don't remember what the fuck I was saying.
Something about tests of endurance tests.
Oh,
Sprint tests.
does that training mask actually help with elevation? Because I've heard that you're just supposed to sleep at elevation, not train at elevation.
I haven't read any literature
According to
about it.
Joe Schilling.
Joe Schilling knows what he's talking about. To me, it makes sense to sleep at elevation because you're just spending more time, more just total duration with lack of oxygen.
No, he said that training at elevation does not do anything. Like he trains in what, a fucking California, Albuquerque, wherever. But it's not high elevation, right?
Right.
But he has a tent that he sleeps in
Correct.
at that
The
yeah.
hypobaric chamber.
Well, it simulates lack of oxygen, higher elevation. So, does that in fact that training mask might be bullshit?
I don't know. I just don't have the information for you.
All
I
right.
can't say. I know that a lot
Drop
of
the
people,
knowledge that you
I know
do
a lot
have.
of I know a lot of people swear by them. But it's just super easy tests. Like I'll set up. I won't get super detailed, but there's these things that I've been doing a lot lately. It's called like an AMRAP round. It's a what are those things called? And
Please don't look at me for reference.
an acronym. Why am I can't I find the word like
Acronym?
Where the letters stand for something.
Yeah.
As many rounds as possible. AMRAP acronym.
Okay.
But so it's just really simple test.
Oh, I thought you
You're
were
doing-
trying to tell me what AMRAP
No,
meant.
no. I'm trying to think of the word acronym.
Acronym. Yeah. Okay.
So what you're gonna do is and we're gonna do this offline. I'll design like some sort of training circuit for you, and you're gonna go through that circuit as many rounds as you can in 20 minutes, and then that'll be on November 5th or whatever. You'll do that circuit, and then you go about your training, whatever you've been running stairs, you've been killing it, and then on December 5th you'll do that same AMRAP
Okay.
for 20 minutes, and then if you can do one more round, then in the same amount of time, then your training is working. You're in better shape. You're able to do one more round.
Right.
And then January 1st, if you can do it another time, then you're still getting in better condition and stuff like that. So I'm kind of excited to set that shit up now that you're like really going to go to Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna do it.
It's going to be dope. Can't wait.
You can test me. Make sure
We
my
just each
one-off.
help each other out. I mean, Jake gets you prepared for the hunt. You get prepared for the hunt. You go kill a big bull elk. You come get tattooed by me and get a badass tattoo of a bull elk.
And you give me the
And
meat.
Can we
you
make
trade
this
me-
a trifecta?
You trade me, you trade us meat for our services.
I'm down.
I'm not.
Doesn't that sound like
elks
a
are
fucking,
huge.
Exactly. You trade us some elk meat. I'll give you a free tattoo. He
I'm
gives
gonna let
free
you guys
trading.
in on something. If I see a spike bull, I'm shooting it.
Hey, look at
As
me.
long as we got some meat on the table.
I'm not talking about venison. If you kill a bull, you're going to give me the meat.
The last section of that AMRAP is how quick you can blow me.
How many knuckles are you committed to right now, AJ?
Talk to me on December 5th.
What them elk testicles look like?
I got 3 knuckles on my pointer finger here.
I'm trying to go fist deep.
Are you trying to go Joey Diaz deep?
Whoa.
At the bottom of the Marianas Trench, just digging.
I'm trying to go deep, cocksucker. Think about taking a nap. I blacked out. I don't even know what we're talking about.
God, dude. Don't you love people like Joey Diaz? They're just one of a kind.
Dude,
You don't find people like that, you know.
National treasure, I think he's been called.
Yeah, national treasure. Like, God damn.
But
dude.
you know, we know one of those people.
He's sitting right here at this table, and his name is Jacob.
Yeah, there you go.
Nah.
Oh,
I know
you go.
like 10 of you. No, I'm
yeah,
just
just
kidding.
very cookie cutter.
We do know a Joey Diaz-esque person, a one of a kind, a very loud.
Are you talking about Tiller?
Yes.
Tiller is like no other person around here.
I want to hang out with
That's what I love about
Refer back to
Tiller.
like episode 40 something. Tiller was on the podcast.
He was on the podcast. Which that's not even him in his full form.
No,
Tiller has forms.
him in his full form. 2 shots of Jameson, and going to the bar.
His spirit animal is a drunk Russian grizzly bear riding a fucking bicycle in the Russian circus.
with a fucking beer in its hand. Can you please tell him that he has to get that tattoo?
Dude, I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna text him right now.
I need to call Tiller out on something though.
What?
Your wedding though. How about could he look any worse? Like
What do you mean?
I
Dude,
mean,
no, I loved it. Full beard.
No.
Fucking
No,
just
I'm not-
slouched back. Just,
yeah. Standing up with you on your wedding, hands in his pocket, slouched over, just like whatever, dude. Is this shit over? Like,
Dude, that's
you normally like sit like with your hands formally crossed in front of you, like being very he's like rocking back and forth like, and so I was like, dude, is Tiller gonna fall over right now?
I had to.
I think he was just bored.
I knew that's how it was gonna be, and I was perfectly fine with it. It's Tiller. You can't tell Tiller how to be. Tiller is Tiller, and Tiller's gonna be fucking Tiller, and that's why I love that kid.
It was hilarious.
You don't get enough people like that. People are too worried about what people think of them. You know,
Tiller doesn't give a fuck.
Tiller don't give no fucks.
I love
man.
it.
Love that dude.
I don't hang out with him enough. I used to
No.
hang out with him a bunch. We don't hang out anymore.
The only time I've hung
Not
out with
much.
him like lately is on the podcast. I used to work with him, but that doesn't really count. Although those were back in like the drinking days of 62
I
Sports.
need to hang out with Trilla more.
Trilla. I think I went to Doc Holidays with him one time.
Trillbone?
No, wait, you took me to Doc's because we were going to go to the Palace. Such a good story.
I don't remember this. Please remind me.
So like we do, like everybody does the typical like leave Lori's. This is back in the college days, obviously.
Yeah.
Leave Lori's, walk down to Big Daddy's.
I love hearing
Done
stories
that.
about myself that I don't remember.
Done
It's
that so
awesome
many
'cause
times.
You drove to Meadowbrook, so I'm so glad that you don't remember. But you know, everyone's leaving Lori's to go to Big Daddy's. Me and you get in your truck. We're gonna, cause we're fucking American gentlemen. We're gonna drive to Big Daddy's,
Yeah.
and we pull out.
What
and
truck was I driving?
The red GMC.
Okay. Okay.
Oh wow, that was recent.
That era. Got ya.
And I haven't been out of college that long.
I sectioned my life off in like vehicles. Like what was I driving at that time? Gotcha. All right.
So we pull out, and we had talked a couple times about going to the Palace, like,
Yeah.
randomly. And so we pull, and we stop, like trying to pull out, and you just looked at me, and you're like, "We could go to Lori's, or we could ditch these guys and go to the Palace."
I actually remember saying that now that you say that.
And I was like, "Let's go to the Palace." And so we went. And of course, the Palace was closed. I don't know why.
It just
Because
randomly
it's just
closes.
randomly- they don't have hours. Like,
No, it's just whenever Steve wants to go up there or if Rhonda's around.
I've still never been there. But anyways,
Dude,
we ended up going to Doc Holidays
the
because
Palace.
they were closed. And
Yeah.
Trilla was up there.
Yeah.
Good. That's the only time I've ever been in Doc's.
That's awesome.
Dude, the Palace, if you've never been there, it's this hole in the wall bar in Meadowbrook. And oh my God, it's the biggest
Hey,
dive
hey.
of your
Whoa, whoa,
life.
whoa, 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 whoa. You settle down. You don't talk about the Palace like
I'm
that.
talking about it like that because I've only been there
The
once.
Palace is only a place
And
for
I wasn't
true
able to drink.
gentlemen. True gentlemen.
True gentlemen
Yeah,
and
no.
scholars.
Yeah, no.
Everyone's
The
apartment.
problem, the
smells
problem
of rich
is I
mahogany.
went there before I could drink, so it wasn't fun for me.
The
Well,
Palace,
sir.
dude, the Palace is one of those places where you can just go and rage. They don't give a fuck how drunk you get. They don't give a shit, dude. You could be nodding out on the bar stool and they're just like, get your head up. Just pick it up. They're not like, oh, you gotta go. No, they're like, you need another shot? Sure.
I don't know much about Meadowbrook, but I know that that's the kind of idea that I get about people who live in
As
Meadowbrook. It's
as
like,
long
whatever.
as they make
Fuck it.
money, that's all that matters.
It's like you probably live 6 feet from here, so you're good.
Oh yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that's what it is locals that live 6 feet from there and they don't.
It's
have
the
to
only
go
place
any
to go.
further.
If you know anything about Meadowbrook, Illinois, shout out. You got a Casey's, you got the flea market.
Which the Casey's was just recently robbed,
and- Was it?
so that
Damn
just
it.
makes it look even better.
And
Fucking Casey's.
okay, so when you're 25, 26, you go back to the Palace for one reason: to party with those kids that you hung out with but didn't associate with in public. You know the kids I'm talking about. They were at the parties. They probably had the drugs, and you know they were just doing that living that dirtbag lifestyle. And you know sometimes you party and you get down and you hang out with those people, but
And those people haven't changed
in
since high
public,
school.
you don't associate with them.
Oh no,
But when you go to the Palace, they're all there. All of them.
Meanwhile,
they're your
four-
best friend.
Meanwhile, 4 kids are like, "Fuck you, AJ. I thought we were friends, boy.
Dude, I thought we were bros.
Bro, we shared wife beater spit earlier." Do you ever just put words together to try to sound
Bro,
cool
you
or
were at my
fails?
dubstep show at the Palace. Yeah, I was there for dollar shots.
I still would like to know the difference
damn,
between the
dude.
genres of dubstep, Bradley, if you could break that down for me.
I
at
can't
all.
break that
Can't do
down
it.
for you because I don't listen to dubstep. I don't listen to electronic. I don't listen to any of the wub wubs.
I don't listen
Sorry.
to it, but like anytime I hear it on accident, I'm like, dude, I could be fucking working out.
But you know
to
what's
this.
what's
I don't know.
fucked up though is dubstep in the right application is awesome.
Yeah, like the new Suicide Squad put out an album for the movie, and it has Rick Ross and Skrillex. And I tell you what, I get down to that fucking song.
Or just like
That
the
song's
right
badass,
or just
dude.
like a really good video edit with some, you know, dubstep in the background where it's really well edited to the song. Like I love that.
I like
But to just get in your car on a Monday morning and just
yeah.
like I mean, I get it. It sounds cool. I don't dislike it. I just can't listen to it like recreationally all the time.
I have to listen to it if it's with rap. You know, if there's vocals to it, there's a point to it. It's not just noise over and over and over and over
Right.
again. And I mean, granted, each to their own. If you like it, whatever, that's cool. I mean, just that's my personal.
I mean, I
opinion
get
of
it. I listen to like rap, but not a lot everybody likes that.
I listen to almost everything. Almost. There's like faint hints here and there of shit that I will
You listen to heavy metal, rock, alternative, some country,
and hair of country
and white guy rappers.
and white guy rappers. I sound so racist. I do.
That's what I always think about, like Z1077. I keep them just like as a courtesy on like my presets on my radio.
Yeah.
But, like when I go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, fucking ESPN the radio's on a commercial, the Bulls on a radio, WAL's on a commercial. Let's see what's on 107.7, and it's like some fucking pop, like dance mix of something. And I'm like, this shouldn't even be allowed on the radio at 5 a.m.
The problem is there's people still coked out listening to that shit, just going still, just my heart's gonna explode.
It's Tuesday morning. What are we doing, guys?
God
This shouldn't
damn,
be allowed
dude.
on the radio before noon, at least.
Oh fuck! So I said the most racist thing to one of my clients the other day.
Jesus Christ, that's a good way to start off a story.
And dude, this dude, he big black dude, right? Dude's fucking awesome, right? I love this dude. First time tattooing him, and he comes in and we're just bullshitting the whole time, having a good time, and he's like, "Man, you got to do a silverback gorilla on me, because that's my nickname." And without skipping a beat, I say, "Yeah, that fits you well, man." I thought about it for a second. I was like, God damn, that was the most racist thing I have ever said to a black person in my life. And he just cracked up laughing, dude. The dude's a cool dude.
Well, I mean,
dude.
you didn't have a bad intention behind it.
I don't, man. I'm racist sometimes, I'll admit it, but I don't try to be. I'm racist against everybody, I think.
I worked with this black guy one time, for real. You remember TK, who worked in the Incredible Events Warehouse? TK.
Yes.
I worked with him for 2 months.
Are you going to drink that?
No.
I worked
Okay,
with him for
thanks.
2 months, and then one day we were like loading a truck, and I looked at him, I was like, "Oh shit, you're covered in tattoos." And he was like, "Yeah, what are you talking about?" I was like, "No, I mean, I'm just saying, I never saw them. Like, they're cool. Like, he had like a Ace of Spades and like some cool ink." And I was like, I just never noticed it. He goes, "Yeah, man, it's kind of hard to see, but it's cool." Is it like?
So,
Do you ever like get black people in there and like want tattoos?
Jake,
and
you're gonna like this story because then we can talk about it. So last night I was over at my parents' house and we were sitting there. My dad had the World Series on and the Cubs were playing. And it was about the 8th inning when they brought on the black pitcher. I don't know his name. I apologize.
Aroldis Chapman.
There you go. Okay, so he comes on the mound and he's pitching for the Cubs, and when I watch him pitch a few, like I think it was half an inning, and then they zoomed in on him, and I was like, "Oh shit, he's got tattoos on his neck."
Yeah.
You couldn't see him from afar. You can't. I mean, I don't mean any offense or anything to black people, but you can't see your tattoos, bros.
You might know this, and maybe it's just culture in general, but is there more tattoos in like the Hispanic community? Like, is that seems like, because if you know Yadier Molina, the catcher for the Cardinals, every year he's got new ink and it's always visible. Like he's got tattoos on his neck, like under his ears, and it's like every year he's got more ink.
No,
And then
no,
Aroldis
honestly, no, because I just actually watched a documentary on Sailor Jerry the other day, and if you don't know who Sailor Jerry is, besides just the fucking rum that is named after him, Sailor Jerry is one of the original the modern American styles of tattooing, of electric tattooing. And what that means is Sailor Jerry lived in Honolulu, or I think it was Honolulu, somewhere around there. The main port where they brought in sailors around World War II, when sailors were moving through there right after Pearl Harbor to come through and go to war over in Japan. That was their stop. They go to Hawaii. Next stop, you're on a fucking aircraft carrier, and then you're off to fucking kill Japs. And that's where they ended up. They would go to
Speaking of being racist,
whatever. It's 1940s. So Sailor Jerry lived in Chinatown, and Chinatown was the red district where there was nothing but prostitutes, brothels, whores, and tattoo shops. And he tattooed nothing but sailors day in and day out. Dude, all fucking night sometimes. There'd be so many sailors wanting to get tattooed. They'd just be lined out the door. And that's where it started. And it even goes back further than that into the early 1900s, when there were just hole-in-the-wall shops and basements and shit, and they just barely had electricity to tattoo certain kind of people that wanted to come through. And it wasn't just white, it wasn't just Hispanic, it wasn't just black. I mean, I'm pretty sure it happened like that in a lot of places. I mean, most of the history, you see a lot of white people. I think with Hispanic culture, I think it more came around probably towards, I don't have an exact date. I'm going to say 60s through 80s, probably around there, when, they would get into the prison systems and they'd start figuring out, okay, I can tattoo with this, and they get prison tattoos. And there was a lot of Hispanic people who were, getting tattoos in prison like that.
Right.
And that's where they're kind of, that's a stereotype for them, which I don't want to say, but it is. Look at Danny Trujillo or whatever the fuck his name is. He's covered in what looks like prison tats. I'm not saying he got him out of prison, but I'm not going to say that,
But I've seen really good art coming out of prison.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying that
they've really
bad art comes out of prison.
perfected the spider web.
Yeah, they have.
Killing the game.
But yeah, it started way, way before prison tattoos, man. I mean, the modern form of electric tattooing. I mean, tattooing goes back centuries upon centuries to the fucking, they found a mummy on the side of a mountainside, and the snow finally melted to where hikers found the mummified remains of this person, and it was 3,000 years old, and he had tattoos on himself.
How did they do it back then? Did you just
back then? Probably the same way the Japanese did it for thousands of years. Because the Japanese, you got to understand, Japanese ports did not open until the late 1800s, around the time of the Civil War. So for centuries, they just lived on their own, doing whatever they did. And what they used is pufferfish have a certain dye in them, like a black ink, or squids and octopus have a black ink, and they would use that. But they would use the pufferfish ink, and something to do with the pufferfish and the pufferfish venom they would use to create an ink. And these samurai would get these crazy bodysuit tattoos. They would split down the chest, and they'd probably be either full sleeve or half sleeve and half panel all the way down their body. And they would get this done the hand poke style. I've seen it done in person to where it's a rod. It's about maybe a little less than a foot long.
They're probably using a bone or ivory.
They're probably using a stick. A wooden stick with somehow probably bone needles is what I'm thinking. I haven't researched enough to know, but that's what I'm thinking, is that they would probably use bone or something like that as the needles at the end of the stick. And what they did is they would stretch the skin with their left hand, and they would rest the stick in between their forefinger and their thumb, and then they would jab that into your back. And then other cultures, they have what people commonly refer to the tapping it in, where they would have one stick that has the needles in it, and then another stick that hammers onto that and taps it into the skin.
So you dip the point in the ink and then shove it in the skin and then dip it and then shove it.
Yes, same way as we do now. We dip it in an ink cap and then put it into the skin. They would do the same thing. They would use a crude method, and they would jab that into your skin. And you can, I mean, they might have done it single needle. The mummy that I'm talking about on that side of that mountain, he might have done it himself. He might have some way figured out a way to create ink and then used a fish bone.
Well, in prison, they burn things. And
in prison, they burn.
They use the ash and they mix it with water.
They use cigarette ashes, melted tar off the boot, and urine to create ink. I watched that in Taboo in Russia. That's a fact.
God damn.
That's a fucking fact. You can take that home with you. But what I wanted to get to with the pufferfish in the Japanese is that the pufferfish venom will kill you. It's very fucking toxic for you. But they had a small amount in this tattoo ink. So they would get a session done of whatever part of the body they were doing, and they'd be sick for weeks after because of the pufferfish venom that would be pumped into them.
That's crazy. There's like, it's like a delicacy to eat pufferfish. Like you obviously have to like have it cooked properly. And I don't know how, obviously, like judging by, do you ever watch the show The Blacklist?
No.
Are you familiar with that show?
I've heard of it.
Yes.
So they go in and he has to go into the restaurant like before operating hours, and he's like, I'm here to get the pufferfish. And they're like, oh no, you're mistaken. Like you can't eat that. And he's like, oh no, I'm here to get the pufferfish. And they're like, oh, okay. So it's like, it has to be like on the DL that like this dude's cooking a pufferfish. Right. Apparently you can cook it a proper way, but if you don't.
There's a certain way. I watched a video on that too, that there's a certain way you have to cook it to where it takes the toxins out for you to be able to eat it. Another cool fact about Japanese tattooing is that the samurai, they would get a lot of flowers on themselves. And that's where modern day you see a lot of Japanese artwork with a lot of cherry blossoms, peonies, chrysanthemums, and different kind of flowers like that. And the reason that they would get flowers tattooed on themselves is that if they died in battle and then they were buried, if there wasn't any flowers available, they always had flowers on their body for their funeral.
Oh, okay.
That's like that's a legit thing.
That's
that they would do that.
That's something I don't see you posting a lot of pictures of. I don't know if you do it as like the flowery like lotus.
Well, that's the
plants and
problem
stuff like
with
that.
this area is people aren't cool enough to get big Japanese work because they don't understand it.
I always love when I see a good, well, not flowers necessarily, but one of my clients has like this, not even a half sleeve, just like a big chunk on her shoulder. It's like really colorful, like leaves. They're not flowers, but it's like red and orange and yellow, like leaves.
Bright, vibrant color. And that's what people don't get about Japanese artwork, in a sense, is that Japanese style artwork looks, in a sense, what we call traditional in America, people think is cartoony. They look at it as simple, cartoony images, when really, I look at that shit as some of the most beautiful artwork you will ever see in your fucking life.
I don't know, but some of that modern stuff is just like, it's just like a different kind of appealing.
Yeah, and there's so many genres. There's new school, traditional, realistic, whatever. Subgenres of everything, you know. And but people don't get it. The modern public who don't, you know, I mean, obviously aren't interested in tattooing as I am, look at traditional tattoos like what Sailor Jerry was doing in the 1940s. They look at those tattoos as cartoony because that's what they associate that with, because it makes sense, because, you know, we grew up on Looney Tunes cartoons. And in a sense, those are traditional tattoos if you simplify them down a little bit.
I kind of look at a lot of your artwork as cartoony, and I don't think of that as a bad way. Like when I mentioned Ty's tattoo, like kind of looks like a cartoony shark, but it's awesome. And the Pizza Reaper, like that's not gonna, like that's awesome to me. I like that a lot.
Right. And I love that he loves that style of work. The dude's a great dude for getting that kind of stuff, and it's not a dying breed. You go to St. Louis, they're busting that shit out every day. And it's just around some areas that people aren't into it. People don't understand it for what it is. Me, I look at it, I don't look at it as cartoony because I'm an artist. I look at it as bold lines, heavy black, a little bit of color. And that's what makes a traditional tattoo. And people look at that as bold lines, bright color, cartoon.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think of. Yeah, bright colors and like rounded edges, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense at all, but more rounded edges and
but Japanese Japanese people don't get, because Japanese to me has such a big meaning to it, because some people just get Japanese because they like it. You know, they think it's cool. Like a lot of people get koi fishes, but what they don't understand is that when you get a koi fish, you should never get a koi fish facing downward, because koi fish never swim downstream. Koi fish swim upstream. And as a koi fish swims upstream, it slowly transforms into a dragon in Japanese mythology. So when you get a koi fish tattoo, you always want it facing upward.
So from your wrist, and the head would be at your elbow.
Yes, par se. Or if you're getting a half sleeve from your shoulder down to your elbow, you would have the head more towards your shoulder going up. And that's just to go with the Japanese mythology. And there was another thing too. Somebody told me a while ago that that when you tattoo a koi fish, you're not supposed to put the pupil of the eye in until the very end, because it's good luck.
Learn something new every day.
I really fucking nerd out, and I get into all that mythology.
See, but that's your
of it.
thing, though. You should
Yeah.
be. You should be able to drop that knowledge.
I've actually been really drawn to that though lately. I know we've talked about we've talked about me getting a tattoo for over a year now, but
Well, it's gonna
or another
happen.
one. But I know we've talked about the ape and everything, but I'm like I said, my client, I'm really inspired by that colorful tattoo. And,
Right.
Like I really love the koi fishes.
You can
And
give them a
with-
bright red ass if you want.
You get a baboon. Baboon.
Ooh, a
is the word I
good
was trying to
fucking
say.
story from Sailor Jerry that I learned. So he had a pet monkey because he lives in Hawaii. He was a ship captain for a few years. Like he would flip flop from tattooing.
Of course, he has a pet
to-
monkey.
To back to sailing ships and crazy shit like that. This dude had an adventurous life. Well, he went on the sea to be a merchant marine during World War II, and when he came back, he had a monkey with him. Like you just I don't know what kind of monkey it was, but it was a smaller monkey, and it lived in the shop with him. Well, he left it there one night and came back, and when he came back, the monkey had eaten a bottle of ink, like drank the bottle of ink. And he was so pissed at it, he was beating the fuck out of it. Like, get the fuck out of my shop, you little piece of shit. Like, beating the fuck out of this monkey. And throws it out the door, and this sailor's like, oh, come on, Jerry, what the fuck you doing, man? Picks his monkey up and is holding it, and the monkey just shits ink all down. And you know, the sailors back in the 1940s were just white. This white fucking uniform. So he just had black ink shit just spray all over his fucking uniform, man.
Oh my gosh.
And then another fucking funny thing is Sailor Jerry has a tattoo design of a monkey, and the monkey is bending over, spreading its ass cheeks, and what it says is aloha. And the asshole makes the O in aloha. And apparently, from what the story is that Sailor Jerry actually tattooed the monkey like that, with aloha on the ass.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude, I love finding stories of that, of the old time tattooers, because they were a different breed of people.
Right.
That dude,
They live life on
dude,
their
they-
terms.
yeah, they did what they wanted, and they lived life on their terms, and they didn't give a fuck what you thought.
Right. It was way before tattoos were mainstream. Like
Oh yeah,
16-year-old kids were getting tattoos.
Yeah,
Like, it was
Sailor
different
Jerry
culture.
was one of the most popular tattoo artists. He was one of the best in the world at his time of tattooing. But he hated media. You don't know how many newspapers, how many people with cameras and film studios tried to come to talk to him and give him publicity. He said, fuck you, I don't want no fucking publicity. Leave me the fuck alone. Because that's the way he looked at tattooing, is that it was underground, it was different, it was not to be mainstream. He didn't want it that way. And I still like that outlook on it.
Well, the next time somebody comes to you and says, Brad, I want to do an interview. So the next time you're on this podcast, you need
I'm
to say,
definitely going to do the interview, because
you need to say,
I want
fuck
fucking,
the media.
I'm definitely going to do the interview, because I don't have millions. Whoa. I don't have millions of sailors coming to me every night wishing to get tattooed all night long.
Millions?
Dude, millions of sailors went through Hawaii before they went to fight in World War II.
I just thought you meant it once.
No, not at once.
You said every night.
All right, sorry, my bad. I got overzealous.
Something I want to really randomly segue into,
Yeah, let's get off tattooing.
Because you said the word
talk
media.
About something else.
I want to talk about this whole pipeline situation because I honestly I haven't done my own research. I've heard about it vaguely in the outskirts of my knowledge. Of
I've done some
life, but-
Facebook research.
I did research, but I unfortunately
Just
did
tell me
not
the
bring
background
it.
story. Just tell me the background of what's going on now.
The background story is there's this Dakota Access Pipeline that is bringing. Somebody called it fracked Bakken oil, which I'm gonna look that up really quick. I don't know what the fuck that means, but the pipeline is going from North Dakota, and it's supposed to come somewhere here in Illinois.
Yes.
is what I've heard. And what the pipeline is
To
doing
the
is
armpit of the country.
is the pipeline is crossing the Missouri River, and from what the Native American tribes people have said is that it is also going over American burial grounds and historic sites. And they don't care. They went ahead and signed the permits and said, yeah, fuck it, you know. And I don't know if that's true or not, that it's necessarily going over burial sites, but what I know is true is that the Native American land is right around there. It's so fucking close. I think it's edge and edge. I don't know if they're on their land or what.
They're not on their land. They edge right behind
Yeah.
it. And the issue
Yeah.
they have with it is that the environmental repercussions that it will do to the environment there. And they don't want to ruin right outside of their village,
Yeah.
which is their, it's basically their land.
Well-
And, they just don't want it polluted. They don't want construction coming through there.
Well, they
and
have
modernizing.
a valid point because I looked it up, and just alone in 2016 there has been over 20 instances of oil being leaked from pipelines, from brand new pipelines leaking and rupturing and spilling into natural water systems and ruining the water systems. Just alone in 2016, apparently there's been a spike of 60% of accidents happening with oil pipelines since 2006. And no wonder they're
I don't
scared.
disagree with them, but I really don't. I mean, I just don't know enough about it.
I don't know enough about it either, but I feel like if we were
I do feel like we
there-
fucked everything else up for them, so let them have their fucking land, right? Like, is
the
that-
problem I have with it
Can you
is-
route it around? Can you spend more of your oil money and just route the motherfucker to where
Yeah.
it's not an issue?
I mean, we already built Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, which is one of the most offensive things that could have ever happened.
Right.
And then we're like,
America.
"Oh, we're sorry. We're going to build Crazy Horse to try to appeal." No, you already fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is they already don't have a lot. They're already a downtrodden people. Why try to step on them even more?
And there's over 200 different tribes of not even just the tribe that's being affected. There's 200 different people, different tribes and different people coming to this spot to protest because it's not, I mean,
It's not just them. Yeah, they
it's
they
not
have
just
to come
them.
together, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
and you can figure it out. Why they have if there's that much protest and that much backlash, figure something else out. There is a happy medium here. There's no reason to just stand here and go, well, we're gonna do it anyway.
And it's disgusting because the people are peacefully protesting, They're peacefully protesting. I watched a video today. They're standing in the river and it's cold. It's freezing and they're standing in the river and they're standing at the edge of the bank in front of the police and they're standing there, just looking at them. And one girl said that she stood there and she said, "I love you" to the police, and then they immediately pepper sprayed her, and she just stood there with her eyes closed for seconds as they just pepper sprayed her in the face. And you see video footage of them spraying them, just spraying them. You see rubber bullets hitting the water. Apparently a number of horses have been shot with rubber bullets. There's snipers on the ridges above with real bullets. And this is a peaceful protest. They have shown no aggression towards the police.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying this is police.
What's
this is
shitty,
probably
though-
private police that the company bought. I don't think this is just police from the area.
Well,
I could be,
they
I
have
could
to
be
have
wrong.
They have to have some sort of jurisdiction, but
Yeah.
I don't know the land ownership. But if they are on federal land or oil company owned land, they can't be there. and it's shitty, but they really can't be there. And if it's not intruding on their land, all they can do is peacefully protest from the line.
But do they deserve to be pepper sprayed and shot with rubber bullets? I mean, I feel like,
if
in
you're,
my sense, I think that's assault.
Well, it's considered criminal trespassing. So if somebody's standing in your yard and they won't leave,
what's
and
that? Well,
you're trying to mow your
okay.
grass, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's a good valid point.
If they own the land, I get that they have their ideas and their beliefs that this is all of our land. Like, this is we can share this. Nobody owned land back then. It was just the land, and this is just where we live. Our tribes on this part of the land. Your tribe's on that part of the land.
They're almost still at a primal state of,
they might have had territories.
As an animal has as a territory where you don't fuck with.
Yeah, you might. I'm sure they had territories for sure, but
yeah, they had
nobody owned
Native American tribes
land, and you couldn't forcefully remove. And they're so far past that era of like riding around on horses with bows and arrows, shooting other Indians. They had white people that brought disease and guns and all these other awful things to them that have now diminished them to it's awful to see the Native American tribes and like how awful we've treated them even now. But the thing is, our rules trump all rules, right? So as shitty as it is to say or break down, if they are on federal land, well, you gotta leave.
I think what it comes down to is that you need to look into it and you need to see, is the pipeline actually going over historical sites? Is it actually going over burial grounds?
But what do you consider historical, though? Because, man,
I feel like if
Colorado,
I feel like if it's historical to them, it's historical for us.
Right, but
you wouldn't put a pipeline over Gettysburg. You wouldn't put a pipeline over Pearl Harbor.
But you would put it on the edge of it.
Well, yeah.
And that's what they're claiming that they're doing. And whether it's a burial ground or not, of course you fucking avoid that. But, or if it's just their territory where a tribe used to be and there could be some artifacts there, you don't know. But if they own, that's what I'm saying. If they own the land.
Oh, no, I agree with you. If they own the land and they're protesting, yes, they have every right to push those people off that land. I 100% agree with you. And,
But then there's the moral side of it. Yeah,
well,
we're talking the black and white here, but the situation's not black and white because
my standpoint on it, why I don't think it's right, and I honestly am against it, is because there has been so many other faults in the oil pipeline production and moving that shit. Well, and I think
can I break something down for you?
Okay, go ahead. That's not the point I was getting at, but
you referenced the 20 spills this year, correct?
I don't know the exact number, but it was around 20 or more.
The infrastructure that it takes to run this country requires pipelines, it requires oil trucks, tanker cars on train rails, and semi-trucks to get it to the refineries and semi-trucks to get it to the gas station so that you can get to work.
Agreed.
And so you can get to work at a reasonable rate and you're not paying $10 a gallon.
Agreed.
The reason you pay $2.15 a gallon is because we have pipelines and we have thousands of miles of them. They're all over the country. There are thousands of refineries all over the country, everywhere you look. You can't drive a mile that way and not see refinery lights.
Right.
In this area, all up the Illinois and Missouri River refineries, producing electric, producing oil, producing gas, all types of this, and you have 20 in a year. That's actually not a bad average for all the moving parts we have from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Right. And I agree with you that, yes, we need this to function in today's society. Now, what I'm going to get at, and I think what another focus of their protest is that clean, renewable energy. Why have we not transferred to that. We have the technology.
We're in a transition stage, but you got to think that this country was built on the technology that we had. And the
Agreed.
technology that we had was combustible fossil fuel.
Yeah, but I think we're far past that. I think we need to get with the times and be past that. Sweden burns its trash and has a filtration system to where it has zero emissions on the atmosphere. And it creates a renewal. It's a fuel source. Why aren't we doing that?
Well, you're right. You're right in your way of thinking. You're right in your way of thinking because you're taking examples that are working and working well. You know, your renewable energy is a possibility.
Yes,
but
it's a very big possibility.
It's a huge possibility, but it is the direction we're moving. Now consider this: for us to have a energy efficient, renewable resource world, what do we have to do to make that world? We have to use the tools that we have. So in order to create these solar panels, well, the machines require energy, and the energy requires that we burn coal, so we have to mine. And how do you get the coal to these plants? Well, you got to use trucks, and those trucks require gas. And so we have to operate on our underlying layers of technology to create and use, to be able to create and implement this newer stuff. And I think we're well on the way with it.
Yeah.
With wind energy and, solar panels, but the emission output and the, fossil fuel using that it requires to make that type of stuff for us to walk into that transition, well, that requires what we're already using. So we still need it. We're still reliant on it. You can't make a battery without the technology that we have that runs on the old school stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I completely understand everything you're saying. And I completely agree with everything you're saying. Yes, we have to have fuel that we have now because that's our main source. That's our main source everywhere. And we have to have it. We have to have it moving. We have to have it to be where we are today. I just put gas in my truck before I fucking came here.
Right.
But I think we focus on dumb shit a lot. We focus on a lot of dumb shit when we should be focused on renewable energy and saving the planet in a sense.
But that's why we have people like
fucking
Elon
live.
Musk.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is like, I think that's kind of what they're fighting for is quit fucking around, quit worrying about other countries, quit trying to be this crazy huge empire. Let's be the best we can be here and get renewable energy. Quit fucking putting emissions into the solar system or in our atmosphere. Sorry, I'm fucking retarded. And into our atmosphere. Quit doing dumb shit like that. We have the means and the technology to create renewable energy, and which also creates jobs for our population to help. It's a win-win. Like, why are we not more focused on that than what they're doing in other fucking countries? They're trying to get oil from other countries.
Well, but that's an argument for the pipeline. We're less dependent with this pipeline. We can pipe it from Alaska to Illinois, where it can be refined and shipped out to places in the Midwest and abroad, wherever. But you're making your argument. You're actually going against yourself with that because
Yeah, I know.
Here's my biggest thing that I think about.
What?
Wrong, right, indifferent. I feel like, and I have like this beautiful life with an awesome job that I'm doing really well at. I've got amazing friends. I've got an amazing fiance, an amazing dog.
Right.
But I feel like I don't have, like, these people, they have something to fight for.
Right.
Like, I don't feel like I have something to fight for. And I feel, I don't know if that's good or if that's bad, but I know it's like definitely something that I'm missing. Whenever I see like a protest that like makes sense, like this one makes sense to me. Like,
right.
You can argue till we're blue in the face about what's right, what's wrong about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they have something.
It's something that
like,
resonates with them.
Like these people, it doesn't matter if they go to work on Tuesday. It doesn't matter if, XYZ. Like they're going to go and they're going to stand up for what they believe in.
Right.
And sometimes I honestly feel like I'm like, when I read about this stuff, I'm like, fuck, what am I doing? Like, what am I really? Yeah, I understand. Like, I really do believe I'm helping a lot of people. I'm changing a lot of lives. It's awesome. But like,
Right.
Sometimes I wish, I'm a little jealous. Not that I'm jealous of the shitty situation they're in, but it's like, I wish I had something awesome to stand up for.
Right.
And that's what I feel like. Because I feel like that's kind of like the point. Like,
What
you
would
should
you-
always
what-
try to make the world better.
What would it take?
What am I doing?
What would it take to get Jake to stand on a protest line?
I don't know. You probably had to fuck with my land, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's-
I think the thing is that we're not more involved, is that it's far away. And I mean, we can't just up and leave our own workplace, you know? I can't just quit going to my work and not be able to support my family. Number one is my family, and I'll fight for them. That's what I have to fight for, is my son, my girlfriend, and that apartment that I call my home, you know, or my property. Anything that's my property, my home, my family comes first, then property.
And that's
I
the
will
thing
fight
is
to the death for that.
These people feel like their sons, their daughters, their homes are
Their
being threatened
property.
by this.
yeah,
Being
and
threatened
that's
by
why I
this.
think it's such a big deal. I think it is. I think it's something that we should really seriously look at. I don't think we should shrug it off as just another, it's just another protest.
Well, the shitty part about it is like, what do you do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Agreed, yeah.
I mean,
what do you
we
do?
talk about it. We try and get things noticed about
Here's
it.
something
but
sad that I want to point out is that look at how much news coverage there was for Ferguson, for Boston, for all this shit that has to do with the Black Lives Matter and shit like that in modern society. But for something and I'm not saying that a person getting shot by a police officer isn't a bad thing.
But if it bleeds,
But-
it leads.
But these people have a peaceful protest, and they are getting hurt by these police officers and hired police, whatever they are, and getting hurt and pushed on. And I know what you said. They have every right to do that to them, but nobody cares.
But if they're
they're not reporting any of that. And
But you know what they
there's
could?
reporters going to jail for reporting on that.
But you know what they could do though? When it would get news coverage, if they stood on the line, the border, with guns.
Yeah.
Then they get
Because
shot.
fucking remember
That's not gonna
Ryan
help
Bundy, Ammon Bundy, and all them fuckers that stood out there and with guns that we've talked about.
Yep.
There was 10 times more coverage than there is now with the Dakota Access Pipeline because they had AR-15s.
Exactly. If it bleeds, it leads. News is entertainment.
It's so upsetting too.
It's sad. I get it. They're a business. The same as anything's a business. The same as church is a business. The same as fucking news is a business. The same as anything is a business. They're trying to make money. And how do they make money? People watch their show. And how do they get people to watch their show? People love drama and blood and controversy. People love blood. Why is UFC so huge? Because it's bloody. It's way more
They
violent.
paint over the blood on the mat,
It's way
actually.
more violent than boxing was. It's the new level. We'll probably go back to fucking gladiators for all we know.
That would be
'cause
the shit.
People love blood. Why do you think people love The Walking Dead? It's fucking gory as shit. I watched that
Never
shit.
watched it.
I watched that shit stoned out of my mind the other night. And dude, it was gory as all hell. Like, oh my God. I was just like zoned in, like, holy fuck. Look how gory that shit is, dude. And people love it. People love blood and guts. People love what they're afraid of. And they love to watch it from afar when it's not them.
It is definitely
entertaining.
It's like the darker side of capitalism.
Right.
I mean, capital is like for real. Like you
But
laugh.
it is.
You laugh, but capitalism is the reason.
the truth.
It's the reason that It's the reason that you're really successful because you're competitive and you're really good at what you do. And there's a free market, and people are like, I'm going to spend my money. I'm going to give my money to Brad. I'm really good at what I do. People give me their hard-earned money, but at the same time, it's like you want gasoline that's $2.15. I don't want to pay $4 a gallon because
Fuck
I don't
no.
have to. But
Yeah.
at what expense is it?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't necessarily want to watch CNN just to hear them talk about negatively bashing Trump. But there's a lot of people who, like, that's all they want to hear. They want to hear negative Trump talk. And the same thing, you watch Fox News because you want to hear about Hillary being a fucking felon and all this stuff. And it has nothing to do with the news.
Right.
It has to do with how many eyeballs you can get on that screen. So when
Yeah.
it goes to commercial break, how much money they get for
Right.
those fucking sponsors.
Right.
God, that's a great point.
That's
dude.
what it comes
That's
down
a
to.
fucking great point.
And it's the dark side of it. It's what made this country fucking amazing. It's what made it awesome. It's what made you successful. It's what made me successful. It made AJ successful.
made AJ
'cause,
successful.
I mean, I don't think anyone's just like pulling out cell phone towers like through communism or anything. I'm pretty sure it's a capitalistic society. Like
Definitely.
the fucking cheapest price probably wins,
They-
and the best
Yeah.
workers win. The cheapest contract probably wins out. And
They pay me to climb really tall stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And but it has a dark side. It really does have a dark side. And at what expense is money and profit margins and cheap gasoline more important than just like where these other people live?
I think the cutoff's about $1.80.
$1.80.
Yeah.
Fucking gas is at $1.80.
Well,
We're good.
and I agree with you.
Give me
Jay.
$1.80 and anything below that, I'll fucking stand
No,
out there
that's
with you.
that's the truth of
That's the shittiest thing to say.
well, that's another truth of what they're fighting for is that like we can't eat money. You can't eat money. Yeah, I mean you can gain
but
all
money
the money
can
you
feed
want.
you.
No, it can't.
Not if your fucking
Not if your water
system's
sources
fucked
is
up.
fucked up and it ruins your crops and you can't grow crops. And we're back to the Great Depression in the 1930s where dust bowls destroyed crop fields.
You know what's fucked up? They're not getting any money for this.
No, they're not. The pipeline is wasting money on private security to push the fucking Native Americans off the property.
Whoa. They're not wasting money.
Oh no, it's an investment to continue with the pipeline.
No, it's investment insurance is what it is.
Well, yeah, good point. That's a very valid point. You're right. Insurance. It's fucking sad that we're more concerned with the workings of this mechanism of society that we've created more than the well-being of the people. That the whole reason the mechanism of society works is for the people.
I just imagine a really fat, expensive suit, but like worn really shitty guy that's the head of this oil company that's building this pipeline. And they're saying, and his assistant comes to him and says, we're taking a lot of heat. We're getting a lot of backlash from the native people. We're trying to go through their land with our pipeline. So they want to sit down and have a meeting and maybe possibly talking about a new route. It might cost us about, I don't know, like $3 million. And he just turns around and goes, fuck them.
$3 million.
Fuck them.
Dude, have you ever watched F is for Family on Netflix?
No, I
It's-
need to.
what?
It's
Whoa,
oh, dude, it's
bro.
Bill Burr's fucking. It's a cartoon, and Bill Burr is the voice of the dad, and he works. What is it? He works for this fucking airline company, and the main boss is this huge fat dude that sits behind the desk, and he has to go interview with him, and he's sitting there, and he's just eating chicken leg after chicken leg and smoking cigarette after cigarette, and he's huge, got this huge fucking neck on him. And at one point, he's just like, "Oh, that chicken's good. I'd eat that. Hell, anybody'd eat that." Dude, that just like that image right there is like what you just described. Like that's what I think of when you say that. Like he's the rich fuck who has all the power and just doesn't give a fuck about anything but himself and just says, yeah, fuck that, fuck you, fuck everybody else. All I care about is that the money's rolling in. You can't eat money is the problem.
But money can feed you.
You can't feed yourself if the fucking oil pollutes everything. You can't buy crops and groceries.
Well, they can go down to their local Walmart.
What happens is the local Walmart
AJ,
doesn't
you
have
seem to
any
be very
produce.
contrarian tonight.
I'm just saying that, I mean, they have a valid point that yes, the oil is polluting a lot of natural river systems in our society. Not all the time, and we still have a plenty
No,
of
I mean,
resources
it's going to have
coming
a.
from
I
coming from
agree with you.
other places.
It's going to have a severe impact, but at the end of the day, we just need to chill the fuck out because we're an hour and 15 in.
Yeah,
True.
I mean,
it
yeah.
gets weird over the hour mark.
I
you
get
start saying
both
things.
sides. I get both sides of it. I do. It's just It's a shitty fucking situation.
Is what it is, guys. Go out there and protest if you give that much of a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna be here.
I'm gonna go practice one of their oldest traditions and
Hunting.
bow hunt. But dude, that's an awful thing to say. But
No, it's not.
hey,
That's the Native American tradition. Is they survived off bow hunting.
but my
It's a natural
my
primal
bow,
instinct.
my bow that was made with combustibles
That they're
shoots
fighting
way
against?
better than their shitty ass wood bows.
All right. Well, give it out to Bulletproof Works for always being there for us. Our dude, Aaron Ridenhour, he's the fucking man. The dude kills it. Facebook, Instagram, hit him up.
That's not even his
Fucking,
sticker.
it's not even his fucking sticker, AJ. God damn it. The dude kills it. The dude is a hardworking motherfucker. Signs, storefronts, business cards, graphic design, car wraps, anything you could fucking think of. The dude has it, and he will get it done. He gets it done super fast for you. He's a hard worker, and he's a good guy, and I promote his stuff any day of the week, even if he wasn't promoted in our podcast. Good for you, Aaron Ridenhour, Bulletproof Works. Hit him up. And you can find me at 435 South Buchanan Street, 618-307-9811. It's called Epic Ink now. It's no longer Underground Artworks. It's the same location, but it's just called Epic Ink now. That's where I tattoo at. You can hit me up on there, Facebook, Instagram, blah, 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 Bradley Dyer Tattoos. Jake?
Jake likes to train people. Do you want to get fit? Do you want to get crazy and maybe do a deadlifter 7?
You want to be able to lift? You want to be able to lift heavy shit when you're not at the gym, when you're just like out in society? Like I can lift all my groceries in both hands and carry them upstairs, and I don't have to make a few trips.
Do you ever
Jake can
think?
help you with that.
Do you ever think that? Man, my arms look skinny. Well, come on down to Jake. He'll hook you up with, not only with some heavy shit to lift up, he'll get you some HGH.
Whoa!
Some MCT oil and some steroids. All right.
I won't get them directly, but I
And
know
for
the
all
guy.
you white girls out there, he has HGH inside pumpkin lattes.
I thought. Well, we can't really say, "Hey, he's single anymore." He's got a fucking fiance.
Yeah. Don't come there for the
The meat.
Chill out. We're out.